Another thing, honestly, it just hit me like just now. It's like, bro, I do not like to generalize. I used to a lot, and my homegirl can vouch for that because she had to point that out to me that I would just generalize a lot of things, and I really needed to stop doing that. And ever since she made that known to me, I've done my absolute best to not do it. Reason that I'm bringing this up is because when we generalize, I feel like when we truly generalize and be like, oh, this is how they are, it cuts off the ability to truly know someone as an individual because you're putting them in this stereotype slash box, slash, performative way of living. Every single person who has dreads is not nonchalant. Every white girl you see does not always want a black boyfriend. And every Asian you see is not just book smart. Just a few examples, right? When we generalize and we stereotype, it really does prevent the ability to truly know someone for just who they are as a truly one-of-one individual if the second we see them, we place them in the box, And the reason I'm bringing this up is because oftentimes on the surface, we just believe that we know people for who they are because of things that we see, the things that they do, but we have no idea what led them to that point of why they do the things they do or why they act the way they do, because we're not taking the time to go out of our way to truly get to know them because we're just assuming and we're getting these preconceived notions that we already know. And my thing is, the more we do that, the less connecting there will be, the less true, genuine relationships there will be, and I just don't want to contribute to that continuously. And I'm just bringing it up now for myself because, just because someone appears this way on the surface does not mean that they are what you think, like I'll just use me for an example, right? And I've said this countless times in these videos, but I already know for a fact, like, there are probably men out in public who see me and they might think, oh, he might be a little gay. And that's okay. But that's the thing, is that I'm not, though. I'm not gay. I have nothing wrong with people who are gay. Shout out to the community, 2000%. You feel me? But I know that I'm not gay. You know what I mean? And it's like, for people to assume just based off of actions and things that I do, it's like, if anything, it's more unexpected when someone who you thought wasn't is, like just going back to being gay, right? There are a lot of men out there who dress completely what we consider masculine. They just look super masculine, like they just are sleeping with numerous women, and they are completely gay, And it's crazy because we get so caught up in just what's on the surface that we forget that there's depth underneath all that, underneath all the bravado, underneath just the mask, underneath what we see on social media. Behind every post, behind every shirt, behind every piece of jewelry, behind every word, behind anything we do, there is more depth to us than we realize. Or no, there is more depth to us than the people may realize if they're not taking the time to truly get to know us as individuals, but rather you just generalize and assume, and then that just prevents a more authentic relationship from forming because you just think when you don't really know and hear. You feel me? So just less on the generalized, because like even like with like with cops, right? I know in black communities, especially just me, because I grew up in the hood and stuff, cops always had a lot of stigma. But my uncle is a cop, and from what I heard, he was a pretty good one. Pretty sure he was a lieutenant or a sergeant. I don't know. Right? I don't know the extra details. But like, the fact of the matter is he was who he was, and he didn't get a lot of hatred for being who he was. But we deem a white man who has a badge and a gun on his hip to be a danger to black wellness and things. It's like, why do you automatically assume that guy has it out for you? Because now we're generalizing and grouping every single white man into that group, and that prevents integration, that prevents, evolution and just true growth as a society, because we're continuing to feed on these stereotypes and feed into this stigma and this propaganda even that, this one person did this, so everyone who looks like that or acts like that is just like that guy. Like 9/11 is a perfect example, right? People who are Islamic and things or people who are Arabic got a lot of hate because of what happened after 9/11. Now, I wasn't alive, but I can tell you that it's a fact. And even the jokes that still go on, like in television shows like Family Guy or people just like cracking jokes like, oh, they're gonna blow up this building, blow this shit up, blow this, that, and the third up. It's like, because of one person's actions, and that's not me sitting here saying, like, I'm not even finna over explain either. We take that one person and we just assume that everyone else is like that. Like, that's why, like, with Asian people, right? Like, we sit here and, like, there's been the stereotype that all Asians are book smart. What if there are some people who are Asian who have a passion for, like, clothes design, but you look at them and automatically assume, oh, you must know algebra, you must know geometry. What if they're completely different than what you expect, but you never gave it the chance because you just automatically assumed that you knew? Not every single black person plays basketball or football. Not every single tall black person plays sports. I play basketball and I have a great time at it. I really do enjoy myself, but I have many other aspects of my life that, I truly do enjoy outside of that, But how would you know that if, when you see me in public, the first thing you ask me is, can you dunk a basketball? Or, oh, I bet you could dunk, or, oh, this, that, and the third, which, I'm not like mad. I'm not saying this because I'm mad. I'm just bringing this up for the sake of examples, because I'm really not mad at when it happens. I'm really not. But just for the sake of examples, it's like, you just never really know because you're not taking the time to really know, And it's just realizing, like, bro, just less on the generalizing, Less generalize, let's go more internal. Less generalize, more internalize. You know what I mean? Let's go within and really get to know each other. Let's build true, honest, authentic relationships and connections outside of the preconceived notions and stereotypes that we believed each other to be. So that way, things will start to be more honest and authentic within our relationships, as opposed to just what we believed on the surface was all that there was.